Mission Impossible was directed by Brian De Palma and it starred Tom Cruise and Jon Voight, and this is the original one that started the franchise that has been going for 22 years now. And this is my geek classic for Mission Impossible films. The sixth one, Fallout, is coming out at the end of July, and so now I'm here to bring you every Mission Impossible film in review and analysis form. And as always, except for my last geek classic, this review will have spoilers. You have had 22 years to watch this film, so let's get to it. And Mission Impossible has a very interesting thing about it. We have seen something with this film happen time and time again, because Tom Cruise at this time, as he starred in this film, he was not known to be an action star. And very much like Matt Damon to the Bourne movies, he came in here with people doubting him, with people not knowing if he could pull action really well. But 20 years ago, Tom Cruise proved them wrong, and for 20 years he has been proving people wrong. The film, like the others that followed, features amazing stunt work done by Cruise himself and the craft put into selling the action sequences on film with what he did behind the scenes showcased just how dedicated he and Brian De Palma and everyone involved in the crew was dedicated to this film. And Tom Cruise is genuinely great in the film. He gives a really charismatic, realistic, and suspenseful performance in what could be probably the most intriguing out of the Mission Impossible films. Ethan Hunt as a character is vulnerable and worried, and he doesn't really feel like a hero at all. He feels like the little man, and he's a guy who begins to snap little by little as his team dies during the process of this film and as he sees the world turning against him. Writing him as a fugitive and someone of such low status allows us as an audience to really invest in this guy and relate to him, because let's face it, in life we always feel at one point or another that everybody and everything is against us. And the film, as I alluded to in structure, is very classic spy film. It tries to build this intrigue and suspense as the narrative unfolds. It creates this constant sense of uncertainty. However, in presentation, this was a whole new take on the spy genre, very much more action-driven than classic spy films or even the TV show. And this kind of style that was given to this spy film has nowadays become the staple of the Mission Impossible franchise and what we go to these movies to see. And Brian De Palma does such a great job directing. This film truly is his own. He doesn't lose his voice whatsoever in directing this film. And he's very subtle and precise in how he timed certain sequences, in how he framed certain shots, in when he chooses to cut away from one shot to the next, and the editing is also very trim and precise. These things combine help in that suspense that I talked about, but it also makes this feel like a very sophisticated summer blockbuster, something that is very true to De Palma's directing. He is very sophisticated in how he tells stories and how he directs his films, no matter what the genre is. The action sequences have an immense craft to them. They hold up so well. They are still mesmerizing to watch 22 years later. From the scene in the water tank to the scene where he goes down the wire, of course, that has become a staple of this franchise. The little use of music, despite Danny Elfman's score being great, these all just build so well throughout the film, and they are used so well throughout the film. They never really lose a step with these, and De Palma and everyone knew just when to put things in and when to take things out. All of this is because De Palma was going for that classic 60s vibe of when the show was on and what we at the time in 1996 knew spy movies to be. It was his editing work and the pacing that allowed us to feel familiar with this film despite it being something new, especially for people who had seen the TV show previously. The film does not hold up in every single aspect, unfortunately. There are things in this film that are issues to me and some things that really are flawed elements. For instance, the glossy look of the film. Despite being very pretty in a technical sense, the cinematography really is great in the lighting, in the colors and everything. There's a specific look to this film. You can see it in the trailers, you can see it in stills that I'm putting up here, you can see it everywhere. It's a shiny look that evokes the original show, and despite it feeling right, doesn't really fit with this new, sleek, edgy, if you want to call it, approach to the old genre that they were trying to do here. So in structure, despite this being a very vintage film, in style and how it unfolds, it was very new, and so the look could have lended better to the style and not the structure. The CGI also doesn't hold up very well in certain sequences. It's not like you can notice the CGI everywhere that there is CGI in this film, but one of the most important parts of this film is the train sequence, and everything about it I adore, still with the things I noticed and what I'm about to say in this review. But you can really see the blurry edges and where the CGI begins and what was actually in shot ends. It's really distracting at points, but this scene is so fucking amazing. With Tom Cruise coming into shot during the explosion, just everything about it I love. However, you do notice those little things, and because I love it so much, I do have to mention these gripes. The plot of the film, despite fun, is also kind of messy throughout, but the real nail on the coffin in the messy part is how Jim Phelps turns out to be Job. It doesn't really make sense due to what we and the other characters in the film know both of them to be, despite them being the same person. How they are described throughout the film until the twist is revealed, it doesn't really add up. So I'm left to wonder if they had an original plan that changed, or if this was always the original plan. I have not seen the TV show, so I don't know if this was even a thing in the TV show. But in this film, it feels kind of messy, and it feels like it wasn't always the plan. I have all these issues that really bother me watching the film for this review, but I still enjoy Mission Impossible so much. I love Tom Cruise and the kind of trial run the movie itself gives to him to prove himself as an action star from beginning to end. I love Ving Rhames and Jean Reno in the supporting cast, ex-agents coming together to find the true evil, treacherous spy in the midst of all of this. And Brian De Palma's direction is so fantastic, it can never and never was replicated. The action sequences are a staple nowadays, the stunt work as well, and there's a reason for it. It's this film, and because of that, I am going to give Mission Impossible, the original one, a martini. It is a good time, anytime. What did you think of the original Mission Impossible, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Is it your favorite? I want to know if the original is anyone's favorite. Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Next Sunday there will be another Mission Impossible review, number 2, of course, and I can't wait to see you there, along with many other reviews to come and many other geek classics to come for the rest of the year and in 2019 as well. Can't wait to bring you all of those, and so until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky united!